Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Mailbox Power Mastermind Call, where we meet every single Monday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. And, I'm not going to take a lot of time this morning, and we're not going to do wins for the week because we have one of our own, an amazing trainer who just went through an AI course for churches. And I think it was like an 8-week long course. And she learned so much about AI that she wants to share it all with us. A little bit about Kimberly. Kimberly is not only a Mailbox Power affiliate, she is a Legal Shield guru and affiliate, or how do you guys say it?
Associate.
Associate, Legal Shield associate, and has been for a very long time. And she also is helping her church out. And I'm excited to hear about today's training. And for those who are watching this via replay, the documents are in the Mailbox Power affiliate group under files. You should also see it as a post at the top, and anybody on the call can go grab that so that you can see it as Kimberly's talking. But you might want to download it afterwards because you'll get distracted looking at the document and trying
Yes.
to Kimberly at the same time. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you so much, Brenda. And I am so excited just to be a part of this community. It's helped me grow every single day. This weekly call is an anchor for me to just get in the right space, in the right flow. And it is definitely the law of association because you all are awesome. So yes, I was in this AI, Chat GPT and AI for the church Bible study, and it was incredible. And I highly recommend that you go to the file section on the affiliate page, download those documents. One is a 51-page slide presentation. The other one is 32 pages. And what I like about these documents are their use case examples. So they're actually giving you how they use ChatGPT and AI for things like church announcements, for bulletin presentations, and for appreciation letters, which, as you know, in Mailbox Power, people always do more when they feel appreciated. So some of the key elements that they talked about as far as the church and AI is language and communication, research, brainstorming, and summarizing content, analysis, organizing and planning of content, promotions. We're on to that in Mailbox Power. Improving clarity of messaging and reframing for different audiences. And isn't that what we want to do in with our things with Mailbox Power? We want to reframe messages and images for different audiences. And so the instructors basically took us from intimidation to inspiration. AI does not care or think. There is no humanity in AI. It does not think in whole concepts. It does not think or feel. So while it can do content and analysis and research and give you images, it doesn't know culture. It doesn't have any nuances in it. And so here's a tip. It's not a vending machine. It's a conversational chatbot. And the difference between Google, the Google search, and an AI search is Google is transactional, while AI is a language machine. So we need to be the facilitator of the conversation and start with phrases like, I want you to act like my fill in the blank, admin assistant, research partner, Bible scholar intern. And it's all on how we prompt the chatbot. So we can use this method called FASTER, and it's an acronym. F is for form, A is for audience, S is for subject, T is for task direction, E is for example or evidence, and R is for restrictions or requirements. So let me go through that. F is for form. What kind of form? Is it an article? Is it an email? Is it a list format? Is it a summary? What is the form that you're looking to create? A is for audience, your audience definition. Who is your audience? Is it the youth group? Is it the congregation? Is it a men's group? S is for subject matter. You want to tell the chat box, I want you to act as a successful youth pastor. T is for task direction. What kind of output do you envision? What kind of impact? E is for examples or evidence. It's really helpful if you give the chat box helpful details and reference points and what you specifically have in mind. And then R is for restrictions or requirements. And one restriction would be no political references. Need I say more? So here's an example of the faster method. You're talking to the chat bot. Act like a social media expert using best practices, digital imagery that drives engagement. Please write 7 social media posts focusing on the power of identity-based goals. Progress is unlearning and change as a catalyst. Create posts for Facebook and Instagram with social media description texts with hashtags. Do you understand my request? And that's something you always want to ask the chat box. Do you understand my request? Our homework on the first day was to, instead of using Google, to use Perplexity or Claude. I understand now the need that I have. I need to come prepared to use AI. I need to do my own research. I need to have a vision of what I want to create and have that framework. And here's a hot tip. Ask AI, how can I frame my questions so you better understand what I'm telling you what I need?
Ooh, I like that, Kimberly. Somebody asked if you wanted to share your screen. I don't know if you want to share your screen.
No, I'm not doing any share screen.
Okay,
Not doing
awesome.
any of that.
And can you name those 2 things that you were supposed to use instead of Google again? Because you said them fast.
Yes. Instead of Google, try using Perplexity or Claude. And there's always a free version.
Clove?
Claude, C-L-A-U-D-E.
Oh, Claude.
Claude. Yeah. Okay, Claude. And I'll tell you this, Claude is very wordy. So you have to tell it short bullet points. But what I love about Claude is the information is always there. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. So the thread is always there that for you can go back and reference. So here are 10 bullet points on just using AI and on any platform. You want to pray before engaging with technology, the same way that I do for a project. AI is not a do it for me. It's a do it with me. It's a conversation. It's not a command. And we owe it to ourselves and to our audiences to be responsible and respectful. And just know this is not a trend. This is here to stay. And in 6 months, AI is going to blow our minds. I have a soul. AI does not have a soul. And if I farm out stuff to this tool without enough of me in the conversation, then I'm creating a lot of soulless content. Give AI 6 months because there's a lot of bugs, especially with the video part, the video end of AI. But in 6 months, A lot of those bugs with the video part is going to be worked out, and it's really going to blow your mind. You own everything you create with AI. Let me repeat that. You own everything that you create with AI. The computer is another paintbrush. I love that because I'm an artist. And two of my favorite platforms are Udio, that's UDIO.ai. And that's where you can give it text and it creates a song, and it's free. And Ideogram, IDEO GRAM.ai, and that's for images. So the classes that I took just scratched the surface, but it does mean that there is more for the church to get a grounding and an understanding of this technology, because it's here to stay. And I'm glad that I had this class to understand that the church will not be left behind, and that it's going to engage with the technology just like big businesses do. So if your church does a hybrid service like ours, people in the sanctuary and online, then I highly recommend you get this book by Jason Moore, who was one of our instructors. And that's Jason Moore, Moore, and his book is called Both/And. I know, that's the title, Both/And. I'm going to wrap up with a few image generation strategies and then close with one big tip you're going to want to implement immediately. Again, there are 2 slide presentations that I hope you grab because they're all use case examples. So when you share this with your church, they'll be able to really understand, oh, this is how I can create announcements to even be better. Because let's face it, when the announcements are on the screen, we ain't paying attention. We totally check out. And if we could get people to really look at what we're trying to communicate in an image that's going to cause engagement, that's a game changer. So image generation. Again, the strategy is to talk to these platforms to start with prayer. Again, it's a do it with you, not do it for you. It's a conversation, not a command. And you have a soul. AI does not have a soul. And if there's not enough you in it, you will create a soulless piece. So break down the prompt in details, but it will still be trial and error. It still will. It's not always going to give you what you want right away. And that's why it's a conversation. So a few platforms that I became familiar with are Gemini and Ideogram, IDEOgram. So the first question that you've got to come prepared before you even get on these platforms is, what medium do you want to use? Is it a painting? Is it a photo? Is it a sketch? Or maybe it's an illustration or a cartoon. It's limitless on what you can come up with, but you've got to bring those things to the plate and already have an idea. What's the subject? Is it Snow White? What's the subject doing? Is Snow White skydiving? You've really got to have this all laid out. What time of day is it? Is it sunrise? Is it in the middle of the day? Is it sunset? That's all going to affect the image that the chatbot is going to give you. And last but not least, what size? Are we going landscape or portrait? So when you're using these prompts, it'll help you get a better image. But again, it's trial and error. And AI chatbots for video, again, they got a lot of bugs. So I would just say, stay tuned for something that will really blow your mind. But can you imagine? I can make a video of myself saying hello, saying welcome, and then I can have a voiceover speak in Spanish or speak in Chinese. It's amazing what we're going to be able to do to be more inclusive. Technology also invites the bad players to the game. That's just it. And so be aware of that. I think the most scariest thing is voice cloning. All somebody needs is 6 seconds of your voice and they can clone it. And, that's just my voicemail, anything that you've put out there. So our instructors invited us to pick a safe word that you share only with your family. So if you get a call and it sounds like it's your spouse or your partner, and they're asking for a social security number or that they need money, and can you cash app them $1,000? You ask them, what's the safe word? And so I invite you to do that, implement that immediately. What's the safe word? What's really exciting is that in our lifetime, we are going to see the Bible translated and shared in every language using AI. The Word of God is going to reach the world in all languages using AI technology. And because, right now we exclude people, and AI is actually going to make the church and the message and the Word of God more inclusive. And I was just so grateful to be a part of the class, and so grateful to just share a few things with you this morning. So thanks for allowing me to share. And again, the 2 presentations are so chock full of everything you need. I wanted to really pare it down so I could take any kind of questions or just some conversation. Brian.
Well, thank you so much for all that information. Really, really good. Do I have to train AI before I really want to use it? So I want to put a automation together, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 postcards, and it's for annuities. So do I really need to train AI, or do I just go type in something in some AI thing and says, hey, what are people looking for? What's their concern for retirement income? Or is there more to it than that?
Well, I think you do have to train AI, but it's not like it's going to take you, weeks and days to do that. You know more about your subject matter than the chatbot does. And a lot of times, a great strategy is give me all of the objections that somebody would have, with annuities, and get that information. And from there, you can create some really dynamic postcards that would actually help counteract any of the projections or any of the things that people might have that doesn't get answered when they see the postcard, that you're already talking that language. But you need
Excellent.
to give AI a base of where you're coming from so that it sounds like you want you part of the conversation. That's the training that's involved, the nuances, the culture, the audience, and why your subject matter is so important. And what is the ultimate outcome that you want in these postcards? What is the messaging and the clarity? What do you ultimately want somebody to do after they get 5 or 6 postcards?
Love it. Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So
Irma.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I do not see those PDFs.
go to the group, Irma.
Yep.
It is a post, and it is there because I have clicked on it multiple times. It was posted well, it's probably just going to tell me how many minutes ago. 19 minutes ago by me.
Does it say Kimberly Todd Tullos AI presentation
Yep,
document?
sure does.
Okay, so when I click on that,
It's going to make you download it.
yep. Oh, there it is.
All right.
Yay.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
So
It's still only one document.
Right.
it is one because I put both of them together in a single document so there wouldn't be 2 documents.
Thank you,
So
Brenda.
the first 2 pages is one of the documents, and all the rest of them, starting with the color cover, is the second document.
Thank you so much.
You're
Well,
welcome. And
Lulu.
I was gonna
Oh.
say one thing real quick, Kimberly, you were saying about AI and video. I went to a speakers class in February in CapCut, CAPCUT is one that will so if you've watched Joe Kennemore and how it brings out and it talks, it says what he's saying and everything, it will put the script with it and highlight, and you can it's not talking for you, but it's a way to do video editing and to add the in and out that's needed right now for attention versus you just staring at a screen for whether it be Zoom or whatever tool you're using, Loom or whatever, to record your videos. It'll help to give that engagement.
That's great. And I have heard of CapCut. That's CAPCUT.
Yep.
Great.
I haven't played with it yet. Once I play with it, maybe I'll do a training.
So that's to edit?
Yes. It's more than editing. It's taking your video and making it more engaging and adding, you see all those videos where they do the captions of what you're saying
Yes.
and
Oh, yeah.
highlight. Yeah, that's what it does. And so much more. It can put music to it and everything else. So
CapCut.com, I guess, huh?
it's an app. It's not gonna be on your, I don't know if it's on your computer. It's on your phone.
Marie.
Kimberly, you are a star, my dear. Awesome, awesome, awesome info. I want to make sure I got everything. And I was thinking about what you were saying while writing, so I missed a couple of things. So at the very beginning, your acronym FASTER, what was the explanation for evidence?
Examples?
Was that what?
I think the E was examples.
Okay,
Right.
examples, okay. And
Yeah,
then,
examples are evidence.
Yeah.
okay. And then when you were talking about Gemini, after daytime, after, telling them whether you want this to be daytime or nighttime, what was the last point you made?
The last point was the believe the size. Do you want it landscape or do you
Got
want it in portrait so that you have the certain size?
Got it.
That's great for your post.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Neil.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go away there for a minute. What does the R in FASTER stand for again?
The R in FASTER is
Restriction.
restrictions/requirements on content. Like you want to tell the chat box, no political references. You want to tell it things that you don't want so that those things are just filtered out when on the first go round. So you don't have to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
And
using.
all of this information is in the document.
Okay.
The FASTER method is all in the document. And that's why I'm just so excited to share this with you so that you will share it with others, because this is, and especially with the church, they need this information. They need this information. They need to get in the game as far as the tech game, because it's here to stay. Anybody else have anything?
It was fantastic. Just
Yes.
a comment. It was
Thank-
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing all this work.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was my pleasure, because as a student, if you can share some of the things that you have learned, then it just imprints more.
Right.
And I had pages and I'm like, okay, you can't do all that in a few minutes. You don't want to go long. You don't want Brenda saying, cut. So I just wanted to keep it really short. And, even if you want my notes, I can email you the notes. The thing of it is we just need to share this information.
Right.
And we just need to know with excitement that with AI, in the church, the word of God is going out throughout the whole world. And that's something that no one could ever say, that in our lifetime, the word of God is going out to the world in every single language. And that is exciting to me.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
it is exciting. And for those of you who are in affiliate marketing, network marketing, direct sales that are trying to reach other countries, CapCut does the same thing. When you get done, you can say, I want this in Spanish, or I want this in Chinese, or I want this. But once you do it, you can't go back. So make sure you save it. An English version is what I got from our training. But yeah, you can translate it before it publishes, and it'll put it in like you're speaking Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, and it looks like you really are speaking Spanish. So
Wow.
it is kind of cool that all of us, whether we can speak that language or not, can reach that audience. Now, that being said, whether it be the church or your business, whatever it might be, you probably want to have somebody on your team or a translator that if somebody reaches out to you after you've translated it into that language and you don't speak that language, that if they reach out to you, that you can actually communicate with them. Otherwise, it doesn't do any good to translate it into that language. So just think about that. I mean, AI is super powerful, but make sure you have the tools in your back pocket so that when that works for you, that you can actually use it. You know, don't put yourself at a disadvantage. But yeah, I'm so excited, Kimberly, and we may have you back to, because you 8 weeks to condense in 20 minutes or whatever is a lot.
Less.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
maybe we'll
I
have
just put
you.
my notes in the chat, the Google Doc,
Awesome.
so that if you want to.
Awesome. And I will probably ask you to come back and you can share other things maybe as you use it, because you just finished the class.
Yes.
As you experiment with it on your own, maybe you can come back and teach again. And I think it was Brian, I think, asked, does it need to know? Do you have to educate it? And Brian, what I would say to you is, on some AIs, some you can't do this, so you'll have to look at the tool you're using. You can, just like I can upload my book, Life's Real Currency, and then it knows how I talk and it knows the background. If you have a book you use in your business and it's super technical and you need to take that technical and put it in layman's terms to market to people that product, I would upload the document. I would say, please act like my marketing expert or our marketing manager and transcribe this to use in a marketing piece that's in layman's terms that a fifth grader would understand, all of those type of things. And the ultimate goal of this is to book appointments or to sell policies or whatever it is, because if it's to book an appointment, it's going to word it differently than if it's to sell something. So just keep all of those in mind, like Kimberly said, the faster, and keep all of those things in mind and give it as much information as possible. And the more this is what I've learned, the more information you give it, the better your results. Because I used to just give it like one sentence, write me 30 social media posts on direct mail marketing. Well, I didn't tell it to act like my marketing manager. Or my social media marketing manager. I didn't add all of those other things of who my ideal client was or any of that. So it was good, but if I add all that other stuff, it can make it great. And I'm just going to say one more time that I've said before, proof everything, do not use as is. I like that you said you own it when you use AI, but I would definitely proof it because there is a lot of false information out on the web, and it is pulling from everything that it can find out on the web. And you need to make sure, especially if you're in a financial lawyer, anything like that, you better be proofing it and making sure that it's right before you publish anything. So I think Marie has a question.
Yeah, I was just going to add to what you just said. Anything that you have written, your bio for your website, your About Me section in LinkedIn, what I have done with ChatGPT is said to him, I don't know why I call him a him, but before I ask you to compose this, would it be helpful for you to have a sample of the way that I write? And so then I, just give it 2 or 3 pages of something I've written. And so he has some idea as to, because I want it to sound like me. So.
The other thing you can do, that's a great point, Marie, but the other thing you can do, because a lot of people aren't great at writing themselves, but take what you've written, your bio that you've written in that, and say, tweak it, add fairy dust to it, whatever, because you can take what you've written and make it better, because
Right.
AI is good at that also. Irma.
So be cautious also, because what you write is yours, but it's also everybody else's. So everybody can have, nothing in there secret. If you're a financial planner, or you're an attorney, don't be using this unless you get, there's certain ones you can get and buy that everything's private, but be very cautious.
Exactly. Well, again, I just want to say thank you, Kimberly. It looks like before I wrap it up, Suzanne, did you have a question?
I just have a comment, and that is I have been using Magic Write occasionally and Canva. And the other day I had to do a flyer for a picnic we're having where I live. And that someone had already put an email out with all the information, I mean, everything. And I just literally took that and dumped it into that and said, make this exciting and make people want to come. And you wouldn't believe I mean, it came out absolutely fabulous, So it is amazing. And Kimberly, thank you so much for the information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I did make the link, my Google Doc, with anyone with the link could open it. So I don't know why somebody's getting it's.
I got
Yeah,
it.
I was able to open it. I was able to open it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that was my link that somebody was saying they couldn't open in the chat, Kimberly, not yours. And one more thing I would say, because of what Suzanne just said, I actually just recently used a Magic Write, and I gave it the wording from the first 2 postcards I did in a postcard series for a primary care doc, and it's welcome to the neighborhood type thing. And I'm like, okay, we can't say this anymore. Tweak this wording to be the 3rd postcard in a series, and we want to highlight the extended office or the extended hours during the summer and that. And I just did this over the weekend, and I'm like, OMG, easy peasy, cut and paste. And I mean, I tweaked it a little bit because it was too long, like a sentence too long for the back of the postcard, but yeah, wow. So somebody, I think it was Brian, said he wanted to do a series of postcards. Take the first one and say, okay, now I want to build on this. And now I want to talk about this, and give it what you said in the first one, and it'll make it congruent so that they all kind of sound like they're a flow, if that makes sense.
Wow.
And with that, I am going to wrap it up because we're 8 minutes over, but thank you again, Kimberly. You are a rock star. Thank you
So happy,
so much.
so happy to share.
And Kimberly's right. When you learn something, go teach somebody else. It's called invest. So you invest in a class, you learn it, and then you turn around and change it. ILT. So go take what you learned today, and go train somebody else. Go play with it and then tell somebody else about it, because that's how you cement your learning in.
Yes.
And so have an awesome week. Next week, nope, I'll be here next week. And the following week, I think, is Lulu, right? Lulu, are you still on?
Oh, I don't recall
first-
that.
The first.
Next-
it's
Happy to
week is
co-pilot
Memorial.
with you, Lulu.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine.
It's
Wait,
wait a minute,
first,
the
It's
third,
Memorial Day.
it's, yeah, I think that's
what day do you need me?
20, it's the, no, Memorial Day is the 27th. I'll be here. It's the following one.
Oh, okay, so you need me to host on the
Third,
3rd, June
The
3rd.
third. Yes.
Okay, and
I think I
you'll be
already
my co,
asked.
you're in,
Yeah, I'll be your
Kimberly?
co-host, Lulu.
Okay, all right, good.
Bye,
Cool.
y'all.
All right. Have a great
Kimberly,
week.
that was great. Thank you. Great meeting.